Earlier somebody asked what your personal experiences were, Kayla.
Oh, just some things. Just some things.
Some
I've
fourth
actually,
floor stuff.
yeah, some fourth floor stuff. Yeah, exactly. No, I actually, we've had this conversation before in some of the reactions that we've done because we've watched a lot of scary movies. And I never really talk about what my experiences are because I don't love to relive them always. But this seems like the appropriate place to share some of those sorts of things. In our house, we hear things quite frequently. Um, people walking up the steps. As a child living in this house, I always just thought it was my imagination because almost every kid does this, right? Like you're in the basement alone, and instead of walking up the stairs, you run. You just run because you feel like there's something behind you always, right? So you're just gonna run anyways. But and so I always just attributed it to like, okay, that's what kids do, and that's fine. And then since we've moved in here and are living here full time now, and I've heard footsteps on the stairs, and then like at one point we were upstairs, I heard footsteps. I was like, can I help you? Like I said, can I help you? Because I thought it was one of the kids or something. There was nobody there. And I'm like, okay, so I guess I'm just talking to myself. And then it kind of brought it full circle, like, oh, no, maybe I was running up the stairs for a reason. Like maybe there's energy around that made me feel unsettled at the time when I was a kid.
What does that feel like in your body? Like to give the people that are watching, like those that want to understand what it feels like. What does that feel like? Is it in your head? Is it in your heart? Is it in your throat? Are you nervous?
But typically for me, it's in my gut. My gut's like something's weird here, or that doesn't feel quite right. And then, when you're going up the stairs, it just feels like there's somebody behind you. You can almost feel it on the back of your legs. It's fine. My kids don't feel like they need to run up the stairs, so apparently it's just me.
Do you feel like they're chasing you?
When I was a kid, yeah. Well, I didn't feel like they were actively chasing me, but I felt like if I didn't run, they would try to stop me.
So
something, not they, something would try to stop me.
Do you feel like you live in a haunted house or a haunted location? Like if we talk about the Stanley Hotel, which has a lot of correlations to being haunted, right? What does haunted mean? Is it paranormal? Is it haunted? Do you feel like you live in a paranormal/haunted house?
I don't think haunted is the appropriate term in my situation because I don't feel scared in any sort of way usually, apart from the running up the stairs thing, right? I think I live in a place that carries a lot of ancestral energy. People who just want to make sure that things are still okay on the farm after all of their years have passed. They're just checking in to make sure things are still cool on the farm.
So I saw something out here. Arthur Gray says, I'm from Cheyenne tribe in Montana, and some grave sites have an energy that makes me feel like I'm being watched.
Oh, interesting.
Ooh, that is spooky. I don't like that feeling. I do not like the feeling of being, and you can sense it. Like that's a real thing.
Now, are they tribal grave sites? And is he being watched by his ancestors? Or like maybe it's a positive thing. Rockstar, thanks for the $4.99. Green Lake, Wisconsin cemetery is haunted. Many stillborn children buried there and despairing to walk through. Also, a blank that knocks people.
Gravestone.
Oh, a stone that knocks people who sit on it. Well, you shouldn't sit on a gravestone.
Yeah, that's disrespectful.
That's rude.
Speaking of cemeteries, that I think is kind of interesting. Um, the place in Louisiana, why can I not think of it? It's built right on the shore. It's like the oldest part of Louisiana. No,
New Orleans?
New Orleans. Thank you.
Nailed it.
Thank you.
Nailed it.
It's like my mind went blank. So when Hurricane Katrina hit, this is really fascinating. So they're like right at the water line, and they built a lot of it's a very, very old city, and they buried a lot of their dead right at the water line. So when Hurricane Katrina hit,
All the bodies.
yes,
Yeah.
everything flooded. They had lots of things just floating around down there in New Orleans.
Mhm.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's really kind of creepy.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, isn't it?
So
They had to try and identify all these
yes.
bodies to rebury them in the appropriate locations. I think they had a bunch that never, who have been dead for so long that their
You couldn't
relatives were all
identify them.
dead too. So it was just, it's kind of sad. I imagine that's going to leave some weird imprints down there for a while. A bunch of unmarked graves now. People trying to stake their claim.
Wow.
This is interesting. One of the reasons that Stephen King didn't like the Stanley Kubrick adaptation of The Shining is that it didn't have the spirituality that the novel had. When I do research on this, because I've not ever seen The Shining, don't hate me. I think his creativity was so much. I think there's so much with his psychic abilities that he does not let on to. And I think there's so much that somebody else took the creative liberties there that he was not happy with. I think that is kind of, but are movies really ever better than the book? Rarely.
Very rarely. But
right?
and I think we had chatted about this just a little bit a couple days ago, but his sequel to The Shining, Doctor Sleep, when it had its movie adaptation, it did a really good job of bringing the Stanley Kubrick version of the movie The Shining back into the book version that Stephen King had intended. So I think it did a good job of kind of meshing the two together. And I think Stephen King even said that
it made him appreciate the original Shining.
Yeah. He was finally able to appreciate the movie.
To make the movie?
What's that?
Did they not get permission to make the movie?
Oh yeah, they buy the rights to the story, and then they can take liberties depending on
And
if Stephen King just said, okay, you can have all of the rights to the story, they get to do whatever they want with it.
Oh yeah, here's 49ers fan. New Orleans is 8 feet below sea level. Yeah, I knew it was some crazy. That is a problem when the sea level rises.
Aaron Two Spirit said, I remember having dreams or senses of my grandparents passing before they did.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had that experience as well.
Like premonitions?
Yeah, with our granddad.
Really?
You remember that? You remember me telling you that, Karen?
Mm-mm.
I, for some reason, couldn't envision him at Thanksgiving that year when I was looking forward to the family events for the season that were coming up, and I was trying to plan for who was going to be coming to Thanksgiving on the farm that year. And I, for the life of me, could not see him there. And that for a while I struggled. I was like, okay, did I cause this to happen? Right? Like, did me not seeing him there lead to him not being there? Or could I not see him there because he just wasn't going to be there? He just wasn't meant to be there that year.
Didn't your mom have a premonition about him before he passed?
My mom tends to see lots of people right before they die.
Yeah.
Yeah, in her dreams. I
I
think.
didn't know that about.
It's
I
crazy.
didn't know that. Wow. Wow, that's fascinating.
I
And
can't
then
wait for a dream episode.
someone said that Plectromira, sorry I butchered your name there. Plectromira said, my mom swears she saw my grandmother standing over my crib 2 days after she passed.
That sounds like
think
Mr.
that's-
Movies experience that he had.
You want to share that for the people?
Cowboy?
Want to save it? What? Oh, there he is.
Mr.
That I've
Moody.
seen my great grandmother and my grandfather after they've passed at the foot of my bed. Yeah, that's my experience. So
That's
Yeah.
it. That's his experience.
that's my experience. It wasn't a dream because
You were awake.
It felt completely different. Yeah. So, and it was after like major life events. One was after the birth of our firstborn, right?
Mhm.
And my grandfather saying, stopping in to say he was proud.
Hmm.
And then one was after senior year of track at state. And my great grandmother, who she died 10 years probably before that. So she's just popping in to say hi. And it's always weird that it's only that my mom's side of the family that's done it. And it's them just popping in to say they were proud of me when they felt like I needed to hear that. So
Why do you think it was only your mom's side?
I don't know.
Turns out maybe his mom's side's got a little bit of the
Yeah.
shine, huh?
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't need to call it woo-woo anymore. It's the shine.
Right?
Shine.
The shine.
Oh, here, Dorian said, do you guys think deaf or blind people have supernatural experiences? Absolutely. Why wouldn't they? If anything, they might have more, don't you think? Because their other senses are more heightened.
That's what Justin says.
Yeah, Justin.
Do I think that they are like they have more of an exaggerated experience? Is that the question?
The question is just, do they have supernatural experiences?
Well, Karen knows more about this, the different senses,
Mm-hmm.
like clairvoyancy and all that stuff, because you can have a sense for sensing the paranormal. That's not just sight. It can be a smell. It can be hearing.
Well, it kind of brings to mind, like, would a blind person be able to have clairvoyance if they can't see? Could
yeah,
they?
because clairvoyance
right?
is not your vision.
It's not actual vision; it's internal vision,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they would be probably off the charts with some of their
There might be
clairvoyance.
more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're not distracted by their visual,
Yeah.
their field of vision, right? That's a fascinating question.
Polly mathematically says, years ago, I had an audio premonition of my uncle screaming my name. I wasn't even asleep. 6 months later, my uncle screamed my name in the exact same way when my aunt nearly died of a heart attack.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah, so what is that? I'm curious about that. What do you think that is?
Some sort of premonition.
Like, what is
No,
a premonition? Does everybody know what a premonition is?
Can I share what my premonition, I think, experience that I just had?
Yeah.
So I was driving in the car the other day. I kind of told you guys this story, and I heard the lyrics of the music was off, and I heard the lyrics of a song, and then I instantly went to turn on the radio because I heard the lyrics, I said them out loud, and I was like, oh, I want to listen to the radio. And then I turned on the radio, and the exact same lyrics that I said were on the radio.
Maybe you just caught a radio wave in your brain.
Oh.
Is that a thing?
I mean, it's possible.
That could be a
Caught
thing.
radio wave.
Like, you know, the radio waves are going through
I mean,
the
the radio catches the radio waves that play through the speakers.
through the
so why
air.
couldn't
Yeah,
it
the
be caught
radio
through your head?
catches it in the antenna and plays it through your speakers. Maybe your
Whoa,
brain
that's
just
crazy.
caught the radio wave before the car did.
Does anybody know what that means?
I mean, obviously the song was already playing on the radio waves, so
With that
I think
other
that you
premonition.
were-
Oh, go
people
ahead.
with plates in their heads have that happen all the time.
Eric, I mean, Mr. Movies.
No, I believe that you were tuning into a specific frequency. Didn't you say it had something to do with your father? Wasn't this something that wasn't the song
I
or
mean-
something about your dad? Or it reminded you of your dad or something?
It was country music, and that always does. But yeah, I don't know. This was a different. It was wild. I was speechless.
Christian says you have the shine. Confirmed.
Girl, you got the shine.
Okay.